All right. Well, thanks everyone for being available this morning. I'm not sure if were the minutes of the last meeting distributed, Rick?
They were not, I don't think.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So we'll move forward, and obviously the topic is COVID-19. So we'll just get into that at this point. We've been six weeks into it. I know it's now become a new norm. We have 5 phases to look forward to. There's a bit of a routine now on social distancing, whether we like it or not, and just explaining earlier that with those 5 phases, social distancing will be a part of that. So thinking that it's going to be over, it won't be. And then of course, obeying the occupational health and safety regulations of the 6 feet apart. I know the city of Regina was challenged with that a couple of times. So our way around that is that we have all our city employees, they do a self-declaration form. It's question about how, do they have any of the symptoms? Are they having fever? Have they been in contact with anybody who's traveled out of the country? Have they been in contact with anybody who has tested positive? Once you sign that, the last line says that if you have any changes at any point in time, then you need to bring that to your supervisor's attention, and then a new form gets filled out. I know we do have some employees that are working from home. We've just gone through a layoff this week as well with casuals. We also aren't getting the same amount of summer students that we've had. So there are some jobs that we're doing out on the streets right now, such as patching and crack filling, that we can't be 6 feet apart. So they have declared self-declaration form at this point. We don't make them wear the mask, because at this point the mask from Saskatchewan Health Authority has indicated that it doesn't help unless you are the person that is sick. And plus, not only in Saskatchewan, but the world, there is a shortage of PPE. And of course, health authorities, emergency services are the first to get it. And we just received last week our first shipment as well for our emergency services. So they're trying to do the best with what they have, but it's still a shortage everywhere that we're going. We've had to put policies and procedures in place for our staff when they're coming back from the 14 days quarantine and self-isolation. Of course, temperatures are being taken. With our fire department, temperatures are taken twice a day. I just finished 5 minutes ago getting off a previous conference call with the province, and I know City of Swift Current have informed us now that they check their temperatures, all their employees, every day. We're not there at this point. We feel that the self-monitoring, my policies, procedures that we have strictly in place, and the self-declaration is doing that. The other thing is, of course, we don't have a vehicle for every city employee we can. So that was the other infraction with OH&S. So again, we have one in the front and one in the back. That's kitty corner from the operator. And at times, if it's emergency, then there'll be more than one. But right now, we're just trying to get one vehicle, one person. So I'm sure that's the public has criticized us for that. But at this point, the health and safety of our employees is number one. So with the first phase, of course, it's still 10, a mass gathering of 10. It's not till the third phase that it comes up to 15. So, but we're a long ways from gathering. So our community events are being closed or are being canceled. Again, all our recreation facilities, even our city hall is closed. Our fire hall is closed to public. Our police station, you have to be buzzed to get in. So there's protocols and procedures, not only for our city employees, but as well as for our community to adhere to. I just start by throwing that out first of all, and let everyone take a turn on. For the most part, we have everybody respecting that. Certainly the anxiety level is increasing as the length of time goes on. We're very fortunate to live in the province of Saskatchewan.
For Saskatchewan, we've been doing very similar things as well, except we have isolated our crews. Like the control rooms are off. Like I said earlier, you're not allowed in control rooms, only operating staff. And if like an electrician, for example, asks to go into the control rooms to do some maintenance type work, they actually wear a mask and gloves, and then the operators sanitize the areas they were at after they've left the control room. We've also been keeping track of who works with who. Every day you track who you are with. And so like anytime someone hasn't been feeling well, they get sent home and they get tested right away. And anyone that has worked with them are informed, and they're sent home as well until the tests come back. And the tests have been coming back pretty quick now. So because they want to make sure the SAS Power employees are
essential services.
Yeah.
It was taking a couple of days. Yeah, I know. It's usually
all of us are being like a lot of the management staff and operations, not operations, but admin staff and everyone that doesn't basically keep the plant running are at home. About 2/3 of SAS Power, not quite, is working from home.
Right. Yeah, in the beginning, we've had about 8 employees that have been tested, and it took about 48 hours to be, even in the beginning of essential services. So at our water treatment plant, our wastewater treatment plant, they're closed to the public, and it's self-distancing, the same thing, Doug, only one person in that area as well. Additional cleaning is stepped up in all our facilities as well. And then the protocol is if someone is sick, they go home. And then before they come back, that I go through assessment with them and check their temperature. Yeah, great, good work. Barb?
Well, we're much smaller, so we don't have the, we're just working in the construction field, and because we're an allowable, not an essential service, we have the same guidelines and the same restrictions, obviously in terms of social distancing and that sort of thing. But for example, you're talking about some of your crews, Helen, out working, doing road work, not being required by the city of Estevan to have, face covering on, for example, a mask. So we don't require that either, because we understand that we're only protecting someone else from ourselves if we're the person who happens to be sick. But there are general contractors whose sites we go on who are requiring 100% cloth face covering, right? 100% of the time for 100% of trades for 100% of tasks. So that's an added level of complexity, I guess, because we need to work within those guidelines. We have to follow the province's and public health's guidelines, occupational health and safety's guidelines, obviously our own guidelines, as well as general contractors or owners for that matter. So we've put in place also a pre-screening every day. Our staff are asked to do 5 questions. We ask them to go onto Sask Health's website and do the self-assessment, launch the self-assessment tool and do that quick self-assessment. That's designed for to see whether or not you need to be tested, but it does ask some good pointed questions. Then we have an additional 4 questions that we ask people, have you been directed to self-isolate? Have you been directed to contact 811? Have you been in contact with, or have you traveled or been in contact with someone who's traveled? Those typical questions that I think everyone is probably asking. And that's sent in to me in some sort of electronic format. So I either receive that via email or a text message with the time and the date and the person that's sending and all of that. So we do that as a measure for our people. We also have and not an issue, but a snag with traveling and transportation, right? We also don't have one
Right.
vehicle per worker, and not all of our workers drive either. That's the other part of it. And there's competing information. Public health is encouraging social distancing and discouraging the use of public transportation because of the potential for crowding, right? On top of that, many of our sites don't have bus service to them, even if we could use that, right? So we have to kind of work around that. And the SCSA has put out a really good document with guidelines about sanitizing procedures and what to do just if you cannot just have one person per truck. If you have to have a passenger in your vehicle, what to do to minimize, to mitigate those risks. So that's a great document that's available on their website. If you haven't seen it, it's in their COVID-19 section on safe vehicle use. So I've really appreciated that. So
Great. Great work. Keep up the good work, Barb. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Rick, who else? Who else are we on the line? I know we've got.
Oh, we have Arjun from Integrity in Carlisle.
Arden, sorry?
Arjun, okay. AJ.
Oh, AJ. Okay.
That's better.
Is AJ with us?
Easy. Hi. Morning.
Hi. Good morning.
The great discussions already. I do not have anything to add on the top of those great conversations we already have. I have a questions to Rick and the committee though. Let's say audit is coming due on June and oil industry is crashed. It's crashed. Luckily, I'm talking to you. Nobody's working. Nobody's working. So how do you do that audit?
Are you speaking specifically like your audit is due in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be one where you need to individually contact program services and talk with them there. They have added that 90-day extension for everyone that's due during this time. That being said, if yours is kind of a special situation where if you're not working, I'm here, but the company is, like a, you're not having the work going on that you typically do. So when it comes to the documentation of your hazard assessments or inspections and things like that, I would expect that they would be lacking at this point. So contact program services. Our offices are closed, but we do have, people are still working from their homes. We have the odd person that's going into the office or people answering phones there too, so they can direct your call. But I know you, AJ, you've spoken with Lori before, or April, or
right.
So explain your situation there and let them know what's going on. And we're trying to work with companies, especially through this. But yeah, I was kind of curious to hear how people are making out individually. So we have like Helen from the city or Doug from SAS Power. But as far as individual companies, other than you, we don't have anyone in the meeting right now. But yeah, I was expecting that Estevan is really being hard by, or in the whole region by COVID, and then the oil, like you said, just totally collapsing, crashing. Yeah, it's just such an unfortunate time.
If you come down to this side now, no pump jack is stroking.
Well, there's no storage even. I just saw. Yeah.
And then, so you have odd person, just like you said, may come to the shop and may do a small thing here and there, but that may not, the workload, like it was 50% criteria, and then, okay, thank you.
Yeah, contact them, explain your situation. We've been having to kind of take it as a case-by-case basis. You're not the only company in that situation. We're trying to be reasonable and work with companies throughout this time.
Right. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
I guess, Rick, in regards to the city of Estevan, I know we've been given a 3-month extension to June, but I'm advising September because this is not our new norm, and it's really
Agree.
challenging.
That's agree. Yeah, it will be longer than that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think,
I agree.
yeah, that was the first response was 90 days, but this is such a, unpredictable time right now that it was like, okay, let's just do a 90-day extension and then that will be reviewed and looked at. So again, yeah, if you have any questions with it, Helen, contact our program services and yeah.
Okay.
Do it that way. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Rick. Steve, welcome to our Regional Safety Committee. And normally this is out of the norm, but hey, Zoom is working. I think it's a good opportunity, Rick. And it opens up just not for Estevan too, that, maybe we could join other ones around the province and I don't know how that would go, but this is awesome. I like what we're doing. But Steve, do you have any comments?
No, I don't. I'm thanks for the welcome. This is my first RSC, so I don't mind being a bit of a fly on the wall. And as far as our policies, Rick probably went over all that as thoroughly as he could. So,
okay, thanks, Steve. Rick, I'm really glad to see that SCSA has jumped on board with COVID-19 policies. And as Barb alluded to it, they're very effective. So, and I'm sure all the membership sure appreciates that. So thanks so much for doing that.
You're welcome. I do have one thing to add, Helen, just what you had mentioned about being able to join other meetings. So we heard from one of the Saskatoon advisors this morning. We had a quick meeting and he mentioned that they're putting together their Saskatoon RSC kind of in conjunction with a little bit of a NAOSH theme or what on May 7th. So once I get more information, we can send that out, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. So we're going to have Colin from our association speaking, and sounds like they locked down the mayor of Saskatoon there will be speaking. They have someone speaking on mental health. So it sounds like it would be a good one for a lot of you if you're looking to join one of these Zoom meetings. I think it'll be a Zoom one. Yeah, I think that's what Bill had said. So it'll be a Zoom meeting, and that's on May 7th. So once we have more information out, we can send that out to all of you.
Yeah, and I'm really happy and pleased to hear mental health, because the focus in the start of this pandemic was the unknown, learning about the coronavirus, how it spread, how to prevent it. And now the focus has shifted to recovery and what that looks like. And along with that is mental health a part of that. So I'm glad to hear that they're taking a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have anything else from SCSA?
Well, kind of a little bit what I talked about at the beginning. I don't know if everyone was in, but just with our courses, we're starting to get the majority of those rolling. Doug said he took one the other day, contractor. And I mentioned that fall protection is starting on Monday. And our core courses, I think all of the 4 core courses, with the exception of auditor, are now going, but we're going to be rolling that out shortly. So it's just been an adjustment for us. And again, trying to figure out how can we effectively teach these courses and get the material across in a way that's still keeping the integrity of the courses. Like, we don't want to miss out on any information or opportunities for students to learn. So it's taken a little bit of time, but that being said, we were just like everyone, backed into a corner kind of, and trying to figure out the best way how to do things. So learning as we go, but we've gotten fairly positive feedback. We still have everyone, like I said, working, and Steve will be the contact person. It would have been nice for him to meet people in person, and have going down in the springtime to the regions. That was kind of a nice thing to be able to do, and it's just unfortunate that we can't do that this time around, but at least this gives us the opportunity to introduce him and for him to see some of the people down there. It's a good region, and it's nice to stay in touch with everyone. So it gave me an opportunity to do that too today. So I'm glad that we were able to do this, and we'll see what comes. I think the next one is scheduled for August, and it's anyone's guess as to what's going on at that point.
I think it'd be comfortable to say that we may be Zooming. It may be a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than
Yeah,
likely.
as you said, if you want to keep adding those SCSA courses online, that's actually, or through Zoom, that's actually really good. I would highly recommend those.
Okay. Excellent.
Yep.
Thanks, Doug. Good
Except the
feedback.
5-minute breaks that Mark gave. Yeah, he goes, okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, geez, I can barely go to the bathroom and fill up my coffee in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any lasting comments before we adjourn our meeting?
Everyone take care.
Stay safe,
Yeah.
stay
Stay
healthy.
safe. Yeah, stay healthy.
You as well.
See you next time, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess we'll chat in August.
Yeah.
All right,
well,
it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, everybody.
And,
care.
Rick, you'll send something out about the May 7th NAOJ?
Yeah, I think that'll be like on our website and social media. It'll be there, but I can send something out, or if you would all like, Vikira has like the whole list. That's how you would have gotten the invites today, I think. So maybe I can ask for her to send that out to the Estevan region.
Sure, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. So if you have the opportunity to take part in that, please do so.
Yeah, will do. All righty, you take care, you
Excellent.
guys. Thanks,
Thanks.
Rick. Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Nice seeing you all.
Yeah,
Take care.
kindly. Bye.